Hello and welcome developers. My name is Shay and this is another episode of Shay Develops. This is the second part in a multi-part series where we're going to build a JavaFX form. Now we've already created our form itself, and that was in the part 1 of this part 2 series. So if you haven't done that yet, you can go back and watch that video while I build this form. The second part though, we're going to be actually getting the form data and doing something with it. We're not going to be doing much yet. We're just going to be basically getting the data, and we're going to have a third part of the series where we're going to be validating the data. So if you guys have been following along from the part 1, this is, like I said, we're going to be using the same form that we created in part 1 to start in part 2. So the first thing though that we're going to do is each of these input fields we have, so the text field, the date picker, the color picker, the choice box, the combo box, all of that stuff, we need to put in an FX ID. And this is going to help us connect the user form to FXML file to our controller file that's right here. Go ahead and make that a little bit bigger there. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. So like I said, for each of these text fields and date pickers, we're going to use fx:/ID equals, and then double quotes there, and we're going to be giving it an FX ID that we're going to be connecting to our controller. So for the name field, it's going to go name. I'm going to try to do this kind of quickly because it is a bit tedious. Oh. Birthday. Actually, I'm just going to put color. Favorite animal. Second favorite animal. Password, self-description, happy service, lucky number, and then this one right here, we already have one for gender toggle, so we don't need that. You can actually pass that. All right, for our checkbox, subscribe, and I believe that is it. All right, so the second part, we're going to be going to our controller here, and we're going to be creating fields for all of these IDs with the same exact name as the ID. So I'm going to come over here and create a field for name and birthday and color and all that stuff. So I'm going to right click this and I'm going to split vertically, and hopefully you guys can see that, just so I can have it here on my second monitor, or not second monitor, but other half of the screen, so I can create these kind of quickly. All right, so it's going to be private string name. Actually, I'm sorry, it's not even private string. It is private text field. So I didn't mention, and we don't want the Java AWT either. All right, so it's not going to be like the value in which you're like you input some information, you expect that information to come back as a string. Instead, it's going to be the type of input, is that's what you're creating your variable, your data type as. It's going to be the type of input that's connected to this ID. So I'll have private text field, and you're going to have multiple versions. You could have AWT or scene control. We're going to select scene control. We don't need AWT. That actually won't work for this particular application that we're building. But then I want to have it have the same name. So I have a private text field right here, and with an ID of name, which I've gave it the exact same name, and that's important. It's going to have the exact same name. You're basically linking the controller to the user form FXML. So, and the last thing you're going to need to do is one last thing, we're specifying this fxml here, and then make sure that it's imported properly. It's basically telling the JVM that these two should be connected. If not, you're not going to be able to get the data from here and put it over to here. So we're going to be doing this a lot. So at fxml private, so we have date picker, and then it's called birthday. At fxml private color picker, we call it color. At fxml private, what is that, choice box, and that'll be called favorite animal. Again, at fxml private, scroll this down a little bit. This is a combo box, and it's going to be second favorite animal. fxml private password field, excuse me, and password. At fxml what is this, a text area. Be called self description. And at fxml private slider lucky number. At fxml private, this is going to be toggle group, not going to be radio button. This is going to be a little bit different when we're getting the data, so just keep that in mind whenever we go over this one. Why isn't this one not working? Oh, it's called a spinner, it's not a slider. There you go. This will be gender toggle. And at fxml private checkbox and subscribe. And I think we actually missed one, happy service, which is just after self-description. So at fxml private slider, and it's called happy service. There we go. So now that we have that done, we've got a connection made from our label inputs to our controllers. Basically that simple. It was a little tedious to do for all of those, but I wanted just to get you guys to take a look at basically all of the different types of inputs that you can do, and how to connect them to the to our controller. So after we've done that, we can then create start connecting our buttons and stuff to actually do something with the data, because right now it's not going to do anything no matter basically what I do. So we're going to do a couple of things here. We're going to build we're going to be looking for an action. Basically this could be also referred to as an event handler or an event or whatever, the couple different names, but we're looking for whenever the user clicks on the submit button. So we can use on action, and then that is we're going to call this on submit, and we're going to have to put a hashtag in front of it. Yeah, hashtag on action, or on action on submit, and then whenever we come in here to our controller, again fxml, because we wanted to share this link. You don't actually have to put it here whenever you're doing these on actions, but it's kind of it helps you read it later on whenever you're like, oh, okay, it's very clear that this does something with the fxml file rather than like than outside of the fxml file, right? So we're going to do public void, because we don't want to return anything, on submit, and then hopefully that should get rid of, nope, still has this error right now on submit. Oh, that's why. On submit, there we go, that's now showing green. So basically now we want to get the data from our, let's say, our name field whenever we submit the data. So what we could do first off is just sanity check the submit button was clicked, and then we're going to go ahead and run this. Great. Now whenever we come down here to submit, it should pop up, right down here in the bottom. See, it says the submit button was clicked. So it's very nice. It's working. So go ahead and close that, minimize that, get rid of this because we don't actually need that anymore. But now we're going to get the name and output it. Basically just going to be like, hey, a new user was created, and we're going to output all the information about the user that was submitted. You could also come in here, create a new Java class and call it user, and say private string name, create our constructor and our getters and setters, and then we could create or could put this data within a new object of the type of data type user. And I'll show you guys that here real quick. So it'd be like basically the same as all we've done before in other videos, but user equals, and then like new user, and we're passing the name dot get text here, and that is going to get the text of the information. We just do output user dot get name. So whenever we now run this and submit it, I'm going to put my name in here, Shay. I'm going to submit, and there we go. Now we have my information, or my name, outputting right there. Go ahead and close this again. But we're not actually going to do that. I'm just going to be getting all the information. Like I said, usually I think you might be putting this into like a database or something. You probably could be creating a class. That's why I wanted to show you guys that. But we're just going to be outputting the information directly to the screen. And later on, we're going to, like I said, in the next video, we're going to be going through validation and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. And we're going to create our output information. So like new user created, and do /n to go to a new line, and /t to tab over. And then we're going to do plus name dot get text, and we're going to do /n/t. We're going to be doing that quite often. We do plus. Now we want to get the birthday, right? So we just do birthday dot get value here. So it's not text. So the method that you want to call to get the information from whatever it is data type that we're getting it from, are, well, basically field. So birthday, color, favorite animal. You may either have to use get value or get text. And then with the case of radio buttons, there's one extra step or a couple extra steps we have to do, but it's pretty simple. And then with subscribe, we have to see if it's selected or not. So you don't want to. You can get the text from there too, but that's not really exactly how you want to do that, and I'll show you guys why as soon as we get down there. All right, so we go ahead and we have the birthday, and we've gotten the value. Let's make a few of these. Let's see here. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. And I want to get rid of all of this here. There we go. And that's working just great now. So now I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to go through, do color, favorite animal, second favorite animal, all the names that I've given to these input fields over here. Do color, favorite animal. Make sure I'm just doing these in order. Second favorite animal. Sorry if you guys can hear my dog. He's just outside the door. Password. And password, we're not going to get value. We're going to go back to get text. And that'll be the same for the self-description. We don't need a value, we just need text. And then happy service, lucky number, and then now we're on to gender and subscribe. So I think I actually need one more of these. There we go. All right, so for the radio button, we're gonna have to create an instance of our radio button, and then save the selected toggle, and then turn that into text that we can then save. All right, so in order to do that, we're going to do radio button. So we're instantiating a radio button object. We're just going to call it radio equals. We're going to do gender toggle dot get selected toggle. Now this isn't going to work yet. The next thing we have to do, and we could have done this immediately, but I just wanted to kind of do this in steps. We're going to typecast it to a radio button. So that way, I'll make this a little bigger. There we go. We're going to typecast that to a radio button. So that way we're getting the right data, or the right data type to instantiate this radio button here. Now from here, we're going to create a new string, call it gender equals radio.getText. And then now we can just output the gender. And that's how you do that with a radio button. So we have, as I said, we could have had 3 different ones. So we can't set an FX ID to every single one of these and just get whichever one isn't null, because that'll give us an error. So say if I had FX ID gender and I wanted to put this across all, I'm going to get an error. You see that here selected in red. So that's not how you do that with the radio buttons. All right, let's keep moving on. So now we have one more thing, which is the subscribe with our checkbox, which is pretty easy. It's just subscribe dot is selected. That's all we have to do for that. Just check to see if it's selected. So now we should be ready to go ahead and run this again, input information, and then watch it all display out to the screen. So let's go ahead and run this. Shift F10 for the shortcut key, or you can come up here and press it here. It's running. All right, so I'm gonna go, Shay, my birthday is basically this month. We're gonna give, it could be white, or it could make it this red color. My favorite animal is not a snail, it's a dog. My second favorite animal definitely could be a whale. They're pretty awesome. Password, let's put in password. Like, this is a self-description that Shay has entered. How happy are you with our service? 5 stars, absolutely. My lucky number is 13. And I am a male and subscribe for some cool stuff. So once I hit submit, boom, we get all that information right here. It says new user created, Shay, birthday. There's my favorite color in hexadecimal. Favorite animal, second favorite animal. That's my password in plain text. So that's kind of an issue. We'd want to go make sure that we're not just displaying that data in plain text, but like I said, for learning, this is totally fine. Sorry, this is a self-description. I gave it a 5.0, 13, male and true. All right, so that's basically it for getting the data from the form back to our controller. But there's a couple extra things that you may want to consider. Say we wanted to have another on action that ran within our on submit, but it was another like another button, like entirely. Say we wanted to use this cancel button, whenever we could cancel, we wanted it to do one thing. If we wanted it to on submit, we wanted to do something else. Well, we could come over here and create another method called on cancel or cancel or whatever it is that we want to do, and that would be perfectly fine. It'd probably good for this situation, but I want to show you guys something else instead. So we'll come over here, we'll do on action hashtag on submit, and then here on our on submit we can check out what action event and where that action event occurred from. So we could we can do action event E or event, whatever you guys want to put. I'm just going to put E to make that a little better. So we could just then output E dot get source, and once we ran this, then stop and rerun. Oh, we actually get an error here. Oh, it says on action, on submit. Either the event handler is not in the namespace or there is an error in the script. Let's see here. What is wrong with our on action, on submit form here? I need to give these FX IDs. So FX ID submit and FX ID cancel. Then we can come back over here, and that is still not working as I expected it to. Let's go ahead and run it and see what kind of error we're getting now. Oh, we haven't done one other thing that we're going to need to do. And that's why I record these guys just on the fly, no editing or anything. So people are going to make mistakes, and they need to be able to troubleshoot their mistakes. So again, at fxml, but this time we're going to be using a button. We're going to do private button submit, and fxml private button cancel. All right, let's see if this fixes anything. It still doesn't. What is going on? Yeah, the event handler is not in the namespace. Oh, I see what's going on. So we've got this action event here, but we're not importing No, actually, no, we aren't importing our. Oh no, we're importing the wrong action event. We're importing the AWT action event, and we don't want that one. We want the scene control action event. So let's go back down here, click on Alt select, or sorry, Alt Enter, and we want to make sure we're doing the JavaFX event, not the other one. So now that we have that, these two things weren't necessary, but that is a way that you can connect to your buttons on your forums or whatever it is, or any place that you have a button. There's your way to connect to the buttons. So let's go ahead and run this again. And I'm not actually going to put out any information because that really won't matter, but I'm going to submit. Oh, I'm sorry, I actually do have to put in something for our gender right here. Go ahead and submit that again. And now you see we're getting from button ID submit style class submit, and that's the e.get source right here. So you could look to see where the source is that you're getting your information from, and if it's from cancel, you can do an if statement to do something else, or if it's from submit, you can have it directly come from or start going through and validating your data and saving that to the database, or creating your user class, or whatever it is that you guys are trying to do with that. All right, guys, this is the end for our part 2 on our JavaFX form creation. Hopefully you guys will come around for the part 3 where we're going to talk about validation. We're going to be validating our inputs, making sure they're inputted correctly, and then sending user feedback if that's if that's necessary for the user, as far as making sure that they know what they've done wrong as for when they're creating our forms. All right, so also though, if you guys have learned something, please like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section telling me what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, how I can help you guys in the future, what problems you guys are working on, how I can make this better, whatever it is that you guys want to share with me. I'm really appreciative of it, and there'll be a lot of great content coming up in the future. A new website will be launching soon, so you guys can take a look at it. You'll be able to see all the courses and stuff that I'm going to be creating for the upcoming future, set on all kinds of different languages and processes and whatever in the development world. But you guys are awesome. I hope y'all have a great day, and y'all are staying safe during this crazy time that we're going through right now. So y'all take care. Peace.